Hi, am I on the air?
Yep.
Fuck.
Thanks.
Do I have everybody's attention now? Do I have everybody's attention now?
Don, I got you.
Do I have everybody's
Sunday
attention
night.
now?
You put them cameras on me, then you must be willing to get that heart touch. This a must-see feeling. The news ain't good, then it must be villain. So I say a tag grounded, I don't trust these ceilings. Spread across your nose, and I'm on your ear. Highest necks on the cloud. Hammer in the air, Sunday nights, prime time. I flex mine better, Voltron transform to DX Don. Mega and off-scene. You probably think I'm nice, cause I slow like a stream to your wireless device. And the smoke full of steam on any given night. I'll short like a piece of any given slice. And for the latest and what is best about, I tune in and tune the rest out, Don. You gotta tell them, am I in the clear? Is this thing on? Am I on the air? On the air.
Hi, am I on the air? Aw, yeah, what is going down, everybody? Welcome back to another brand new edition of Am I on the Air? It is January 12th, 2015. It is another glorious Monday afternoon. This is Season 10, Episode 2. Today's show is titled Tooken. Yes, we don't take, we took. We Tooken. We Tooken in 3 films in a franchise, and we're about to do a review here of Taken 3. And it's funny because when I decided to name this show Tooken today, kind of in just funny gist, I was looking for some pictures that I could maybe use as a thumbnail for this episode, and I found out there's actually a spoof movie coming out later this year called Tooken, which is basically a spoof on the Taken franchise. So I'm not the only one with these thoughts. I thought that was pretty funny. So so look for Tooken later this year, which is a spoof on the Taken franchise. Welcome to the show once again. My name is Don Mega. I am your host, and welcome to the show. If you've never listened to Am I on the Air before, where have you been? I welcome you. This is your one-stop shop. It's a weekly show where I bring you up to speed in all the latest in entertainment news, TV, movies, and anything else really in pop culture that's of importance to talk about within the last 7 days. Today's episode, we're going to talk, like I said, I got a review on Taken 3. We're going to talk about the Golden Globe winners from last night. We'll shout out a little Agent Carter and some other big TV and movie news that has been going down. New trailers, everything. There was a new Ant-Man trailer. It was pretty awesome. So we'll talk about all of that coming up here on today's show. So let's get it cracking with our movie review. As we always do, we kick it off with our movie review of the week, which was Taken 3. Liam Neeson back, Famke Janssen back, Maggie Grace back. Your core cast is back. Although, in a weird kind of casting change, Doug Ray Scott was in this film, and he plays Stuart, who is Famke Janssen's husband. And if you've been familiar with the Taken franchise, you've seen that Stuart is not Doug Ray Scott in Taken 1 or 2. So I thought that was kind of odd that they recasted him. It just felt a little odd, because he's nowhere close to what the other dude was in the other movies. But in any sense, and in a little tidbit of trivia, I always like to drop this one on people, because they don't know. Doug Ray Scott was originally supposed to be your Wolverine. Bryan Singer had hired him to be Wolverine back for the 2000 original X-Men movie. And at the time, he was the bad guy in Mission Impossible 2. He was filming that movie. It was supposed to finish, and then he could jump right into X-Men. And unfortunately, Mission Impossible 2 ran long in its production, and since he signed that contract first, he was obligated to finish out doing Mission Impossible 2. Therefore, he had to drop out of doing X-Men, and we got Hugh Jackman. So, very interesting piece of trivia there that I always like to drop on people, because Hugh Jackman is amazing as Wolverine. Of course, he's all of our favorites. Can't see anybody else doing the role. And every time I see Doug Ray Scott in my head, I'm like, man, this could have been you, dude. Like, you could have been Wolverine. I wonder how much that eats that dude up every time he sees Hugh Jackman. You know, and he's like, God damn you, Mission Impossible 2. He was a great bad guy in Mission Impossible 2, but damn, he could have had 7 movies of X-Men under his belt. In any case, Taken 3, what I really loved about this one is that it took a different turn in the franchise. It wasn't about someone being taken. You know, in the first movie, of course, his daughter gets taken and he has to go get her back. In the second movie, he actually gets taken along with his wife, and he's got to break free and kind of get her back and set the wrong things right. In this one, it was like, oh, who's going to be kidnapped now? That was the big joke. Is the dog going to get taken? But in this one, it's a little bit different. And you've seen it in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything. But basically, Famke Janssen, who is his ex-wife in the franchise, she comes over to hang out with him. He goes to get some bagels, and when he comes back, she's been murdered in his bed. And he's like, oh my God, you know, like, what the hell happened? He's trying to check out the crime scene and see what's going on, and the cops bust in. Obviously, someone set him up, called the police, said, you know, hey, we heard this female screaming, so the cops come over right away, and they go to arrest him because, hey, they find him with a knife over his ex-wife's dead body. And he's like, it wasn't me, I didn't do it, you know, and they're like, we don't care, get on the ground, you know, and they're trying to do their job and arrest him. And, of course, he's got his particular set of skills, so he kind of outdoes the cops, and he goes on the run. Forrest Whitaker is like the chief of police, and he's the one kind of getting the whole task crew together, going after them, and this movie is more in line with like The Fugitive and like stuff like that, because basically Liam Neeson's character is just on the run the entire movie. He's getting chased by the cops and he's trying to keep his daughter safe, but at the same time, you know, the cops are trying to do their job and bring him in because they think, like, you know, that he killed his wife. And even though he's saying, I'm not guilty, of course he's running from the cops. So the cops are still going after him, trying to, you know, bring him in. I liked the theme of this one. I liked the concept. I liked that it was different, and I really enjoyed like him being on the run, trying to kind of like murder mystery, figure out who did what to his wife and why, and how it all kind of came together. I loved all of it. You know, I thought the action was really good. I thought it was a big step up from Taken 2. I like Taken 2, but Taken 2 was pretty much in line with the first movie, just kind of repeating, kind of doing the hangover thing. Whereas Taken 3 took it in a little bit of a different direction. We had the character we know and love. And I really, you know, I'm not a biggest fan of Forrest Whitaker, but I thought he did a really good job in this film, and I liked him kind of being the cop going after, because you see him trying to really solve the crime too. He's not 100% sure that Liam Neeson's character did murder his wife, but he's trying to figure it out and do his job at the same time, and there's so much that goes into it. And I thought it was a good twist, and I thought it was a great close to this trilogy. Now, is it the close to the trilogy? Some say yes, some say no. This was supposed to be it. You know, the tagline to this movie was "It all ends here," and this is supposed to be it. The producers, the guy that writes it, the guy that produces it, they've all said this is it. We just intended to do 3, and it's done now. But of course, in typical Hollywood fashion, opening weekend just happened. It's the #1 film in America. It made $40 million opening weekend, which is a great opening for a movie like this. It's a hit. And they've already interviewed Liam Neeson, who said he would love to come back for number 4. He says that he loved working with Forrest Whitaker, and he would love to like bring him back and actually do something to where they get to work together this time. And I think that would be a great idea too, where, you know, the cops have some kind of case and they can't do it on their own, so they kind of recruit him in to help. Like, yes, the movie's called Taken, but with his set of skills and how great he is, I think it leaves the door open so much for them to do really cool kind of side stories like this. You know, it's almost like a Fast and Furious thing where the Rock's character, you know, recruits Dom and the gang to help them out because they need somebody on that side. And it could be the same thing, you know. Forrest Whitaker's character is like, man, we tried everything we can. We're constantly like getting behind. The bad guys keep getting away. We need some help, and they could recruit him to kind of come help. Just an idea. So who knows? I mean, the idea is there that they're like, maybe we could do a fourth one. I wouldn't mind it. I think it's cool to kind of close the doors right now with it as a trilogy, but I would definitely not be opposed to another one coming out as long as they keep changing up the direction of where this story goes. Let's not go back to somebody getting kidnapped. You know, like I don't want to go there anymore. We've done that. Let's move on. Let's use his skills to help somebody in other dangerous situations. I really, really enjoyed this film. Out of my 5-star scale, I gave Taken 3 3.5 stars out of 5. Now, originally I was going to give it 4, actually, because I really, really enjoyed it. But when I sat back, took a little minute after the theater and kind of talked some stuff through, I was like, I don't think it quite hit the 4 mark. And that's really just because some of the action in this movie was a little extreme. And I can accept that in certain franchises, but in Taken, it felt a little far-fetched. Now, I'm not going to get into details, you know, to really say spoiler alert, but there are like 2 different occasions in this film where there's a massive explosion involving Liam Neeson's character, to where I joked, and, you know, I saw this movie with Geeky Pat, and I looked over at him and I said, roll credits, because he should have been dead, you know, and then, of course, in typical Taken fashion, he just pops up, like, totally unscathed. And that's a little hard for me. With no explanation, you see this massive explosion of where he just was, and it's like, how did he get out? You know, and to have it happen once, no biggie. But when it happened the second time, it was just like, oh, come on now. Like, now we're stretching a little bit. So it took a little bit away from the film, so I knocked it down a little bit. It's definitely better than the 3-star, because 3-star for me is good, 4-star is like awesome. So it kind of fits right into the middle of that. It was really, really good, and maybe that's what we'll say 3.5 stars was. It was really, really good. I enjoyed it, like I said, better than number 2, not quite as good as the first one, because the first one's so special, but I liked the concept and I liked the direction that they took this one. So Taken 3, 3.5 stars out of 5 for me. Alrighty. Let's get into the Golden Globe stuff. Last night was the Golden Globes. This is basically step 1 to the Oscars. I think the Oscars are going to get announced this week. I hope they do. I'm very interested in what's coming to see who gets nominated. But the Golden Globes gives you a good idea of what's going to get nominated and a good idea of probably what's going to win. So last night was pretty good. It was hosted by Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. They're hilarious. They're always awesome when they host these things. What I like about the Golden Globes is that it involves television as well, because I like to see television rewarded just as much as movies. So I'm just going to quickly run down the winners of the Golden Globes last night. Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy TV Show went to Gina Rodriguez for Jane the Virgin. Best Musical or Comedy TV Series went to Transparent. That's an exclusive show on Amazon Instant Video. Best Actress in a Miniseries or Motion Picture went to Maggie Gyllenhaal. Best Director of a Motion Picture went to Richard Linklater for Boyhood. Best Actor in a Miniseries or Motion Picture went to Billy Bob Thornton for Fargo. Best Miniseries or TV Film went to Fargo. Best Actor in a TV Series went to Kevin Spacey for House of Cards. Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy TV Series went to Jeffrey Tambor for that Transparent show over on Amazon. Best Supporting Actor in a Series or Miniseries went to Matt Bomer for A True Heart. Best Supporting Actor in a Motion Picture went to J.K. Simmons for Whiplash. Best Actress. Hold on one second. Just totally lost my spot because it slid it over too much. Okay. Best Drama TV Series went to The Affair, and I'm very pleased about this. The Affair was one of my favorite television shows on this past year, and not enough people watched it. I was watching some tweets last night during the Golden Globes, and a lot of people were like, what the hell's The Affair? The Affair was a show on Showtime about, obviously, an affair. This couple's married, they got kids, they go on vacation, and he ends up having an affair with one of the local waitresses. But it creates this really weird thing that goes down, and there's a crime, and there's this like cutback, and the story is told from two perspectives, from the guy's perspective for the first half hour, and the female's perspective for the second half hour. It's a drama, it's very heavy, it's very sexual, but it's a great show, and I was so happy to see it kind of get its recognition at the Golden Globes. So congratulations to The Affair winning Best Drama TV Show. Speaking of The Affair, Ruth Wilson also won for Best Actress in a Drama TV Series for The Affair. She's the main female, she's the waitress that ends up having the affair. Best Supporting Actress in a Series or Miniseries is Joanne Froggatt. Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy Motion Picture went to Amy Adams for Big Eyes. Best Actress in a Drama Motion Picture went to Julianne Moore for Still Alice. Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy went to Michael Keaton for Birdman. He had a great acceptance speech. I love Michael Keaton. He was one of my favorite actors in the 80s and 90s. He will always be Batman to me, but I love so many more of his films. Great actor, and I'm glad to see him kind of get this little resurgence here because of Birdman. I hope to see Birdman very, very soon. I'm very excited because I hear nothing but great things. Best Actor in a Drama Motion Picture went to Eddie Redmayne for The Theory of Everything. Best Foreign Language Film went to Leviathan. Best Supporting Actress in a Motion Picture went to Patricia Arquette for Boyhood. Best Screenplay went to Birdman. Best Musical or Comedy Motion Picture went to The Grand Budapest Hotel. Best Animated Feature went to How to Train Your Dragon 2. The Best Original Score went to The Theory of Everything. The Cecil B. DeMille kind of Lifetime Achievement Award went to George Clooney, which was great. It was cool kind of seeing his little sizzle reel. They were showing all the big movies that he's done over the years. Only one I noticed missing, Batman and Robin. How dare they leave Batman and Robin out of his Lifetime Achievement Award. Best Original Song went to Glory by John Legend for the movie Selma. And Best Motion Picture Drama went to Boyhood. So that is your Golden Globe 2015 winners. It was a really good show. A lot of good, the right choices were picked for a lot of these categories. It was a good turnout. All right. Let's switch on over. Let's get to the news. And first I want to shout out, I usually do shout out stuff at the end of the show for where you can find us online. I want to shout out, and I keep forgetting to do this, so I'm doing it now. There's a website, kind of like Stitcher, but a lot of people use this one a lot. It's called TuneIn, TuneIn. TuneIn is another app that you can download. It's a website that you can listen to on a computer. Am I on the Air is available on TuneIn. So I just wanted to kind of shout that out. We were available on TuneIn a couple years ago, and for some reason it just kind of stopped updating. I found out, I'd been talking with TuneIn, they've updated the feed, everything looks like it's working beautifully. I've kind of checked it out the last couple weeks before I said anything. It looks to be working, knock on wood. So TuneIn is ready to go. You could check out Am I on the Air on the TuneIn app and website. Okay, so right after we did last week's show, of course, news always seems to drop right after I do a show, and it was that Fox has announced that the solo Gambit movie starring Channing Tatum has been announced for an October 7th, 2016 release date. So that's coming out way faster than I assumed. I thought we wouldn't see this Gambit movie till at least 2017, and that was super shocking to me. What's even crazier about that is once you add in the Gambit movie, that means next year in 2016, Fox is going to put out 3 X-Men Universe films within 9 months of each other. That is insane. And I think if you even want to extend it into 2017, and you go to a 13-month scale, it's actually going to be 4 films, because it would add in Wolverine 3 on top of it. So In 2016, in February, you're going to have the Deadpool movie. Then in May, you're going to have X-Men Apocalypse. Now October, you're going to have Gambit. And then in March of 2017, you're going to have Wolverine 3. So, whoo! Fox is going full scale in here, and they're just going to be pumping out these movies like no tomorrow. But yeah, 3 X-Men universe films in 2016, all within 9 months of each other. That's insane, but you know what? I love it, and I'm glad to see that Fox is kind of getting their stuff together, and they're saying, you know what, we're going to go for this. Like, what's the point of waiting? You know, the problem with these movies is when they space them all out like 3-4 years apart, it makes it really hard to stay so invested into a franchise. You need these things out quicker. Now, this brings up a lot of questions of, is there going to be crossover? Like, what's going to come of this? I don't know if there's really going to be any crossover much within these 3 films. I believe Deadpool is going to be set in the current day. X-Men Apocalypse, as far as we know, is going to be in the 80s. So, I don't know if they're going to do anything with Deadpool and Apocalypse. I doubt it. Now, Gambit is the big question mark here, because do they introduce Gambit in the 80s in X-Men Apocalypse with Channing Tatum? Like, do they have him do a little cameo or something just to kind of introduce that character and then branch into the solo movie? Or do you kick him off with the solo movie and then have him a part of the team in the next X-Men movie? I don't know. I'm starting to feel like they're going to probably skip him in X-Men Apocalypse since it is in the 80s, and I believe the Gambit movie is going to be kind of current day. And then once you have this new team set up in Apocalypse, you can add him into the team in the next X-Men film. Possibly. I just don't know, man. Because it's like they're going so young for this X-Men team in Apocalypse that Channing Tatum's going to kind of look like the old guy. It's going to be like 21 Jump Street. He's going to be like the old dude being like, what's up? I'm in the X-Men. Like, and they're going to be like, dude, you're so old. Like, what are you doing with us? Like, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I want Gambit with the whole team. I don't want to always just have him separate. So I'm going to be very, very curious to see how they kind of merge the 2 franchises together. I hope he gets a little cameo in Apocalypse just so we're introduced to him, and then we get his solo movie in October. But very, very interesting to see that lockdown. Once again, the Gambit movie is being released October 7th, 2016. In some more release date news, I'm a little bummed, but the 3rd untitled Planet of the Apes movie, which was supposed to come out in 2016, has been bumped back. The movie will now come out on July 14th, 2017. So they're pushing the movie back a whole year. The director wanted some more time to really flesh out the script and get everything right. So I'm a little bummed. I was really looking forward to the 3rd Apes movie, and I really wanted it next year. But hey, if it's going to make for a better film, I guess we'll wait till 2017. And the Fantastic Four 2... Yes, 2, not even the new one that we haven't even seen anything from. Fantastic Four 2, its release date has been bumped up 1 month. It was supposed to come out July of 2017. It will now come out June 2nd, 2017. So that one has been released up 1 month. And also, we finally have a release date for Assassin's Creed. Yes, there's going to be Assassin's Creed movie based on the video game starring Michael Fassbender. And Assassin's Creed will now be released on December 21st, 2016. So next year, in December, we will finally get that Assassin's Creed movie we've been hearing so much about, but not getting any official lockdown release date. Melissa McCarthy's new comedy, Michelle Darnell, has been given a release date, and it will come out next year. Let's see here. Scorpion, the TV show Scorpion, which I love, has been given the post-AFC championship slot on CBS. I believe that is going to be this Saturday or Sunday coming up. The show is usually on tonight. It's on Monday nights, but they bumped it tonight, and they're going to do the new episode this Saturday or Sunday right after the AFC championship game. So that's really big for Scorpion. HBO has renewed Girls for a 5th season. So I know my wife was excited about that. I don't really care for this show. In Everything Wrong With news, we got Everything Wrong With Ghost Rider in 17 minutes or less. You can check out. We have the official trailer for Peanuts, of course, the Charlie Brown movie. We got the trailer for We'll Never Have Paris, starring Zachary Quinto. You can check that out. We have the first trailer for Accidental Love, starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Jessica Biel. This movie looks super weird. And it kind of is odd to me because Jake Gyllenhaal's been picking such great projects lately. And then he goes and does a movie like this, which looks like this super weird, low budget, made for $50 movie. That I'm just like, really? I'm like, did you do this before all your other really cool movies? And this just like, somebody found it on a shelf and said, we'll release it now? Because he's getting so much praise and been doing such great stuff for, for Nightcrawler. I mean, he might get an Oscar nomination for that. He was up for a Golden Globe last night. And then you're going to do a movie like Accidental Love? I don't know. So check the trailer out for yourself if you don't get what I'm really saying here. But Netflix is going to be premiering the DreamWorks series, The Adventures of Puss in Boots. I'm very excited about this. I love Puss in Boots, and if it's going to get a Netflix series, let's do it, because we're not getting Puss in Boots 2 till like 2018. So let's get it cracking. Let's see here. Big Hero 6 is going to be arriving on digital HD and Blu-ray in February. We have some exclusive pictures and the cover of the new Entertainment Weekly with Paul Rudd on the front in Ant-Man costume, so that's really cool. The next Bourne movie with Matt Damon returning has taken Planet of the Apes' vacated spot. So like I said earlier, Planet of the Apes was supposed to come out in the summer of 2016. They bumped it back a year to the summer of 2017. So instead, the Bourne movie has jumped on that release date and taken it. In some more trailer news, we of course, last week, Agent Carter debuted. And it was a 2-hour premiere episode, basically 2 episodes back to back. And I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. She's great. She is so good as Agent Carter. I love her in that role. She's so badass. Loved it. So it'll be interesting to see where this series goes. It was cool to see Dominic West pop up as Howard Stark, and we were introduced to the real Butler Jarvis, which was pretty cool. But at the end of Agent Carter, we got the world premiere teaser trailer to Ant-Man. And there's been a lot of love and hate for this trailer. A lot of people saying, it didn't give me enough, and I didn't like it. It was like a minute and a half, and it was a first look teaser. It's funny because Star Wars comes out and does this 80-second teaser that really shows us nothing, and everyone's like, that was the greatest teaser in the world! And then like Ant-Man does like a minute and a half teaser, which actually shows some decent footage in it, and then people are like, it didn't show us enough. I don't get it, man. What is the like... It showed us way more than Star Wars did. So... it's just one of those things. But I thought it was a really good trailer. It was cool to see the Ant-Man costume. I thought that looked awesome. I liked the tone of the trailer. It was really cool because it kind of starts off and it's very dark, and you hear Michael Douglas's voice talking about all this stuff, and then he's looking at Paul Rudd, and you see Paul Rudd getting out of jail and all this stuff, and then he says to Paul Rudd, like, I need you to be the Ant-Man. And and then it does this close-up of Paul Rudd, and he's like, huh? You know, and it was funny, you know, and then you get the action spots, and you see him shrink down, and you see him riding the ant, and you see a lot of this, you know, all this other action going on, and then the trailer ends with a really cool spot where Hank Pym and Scott Lang are sitting together, and Paul Rudd says to Michael Douglas, you know, just one question: is it too late to change the name? And then it says Marvel's Ant-Man. I thought that was a great ending to the trailer. I know a lot of people didn't like the comedy beats to it. A movie like this has to have comedy beats. It's got to poke a little bit of fun of itself. The name Ant-Man is retarded. It's so stupid, and and it makes sense that a character kind of taking over a superhero, pre-established superhero, would be like, is there any way we can maybe change the name of this? This movie's going to have a lot of humor to it. Adam McKay and Paul Rudd both worked on the revised script. Edgar Wright, who does a lot of humor in his movies, wrote the original version of the script. Marvel movies always have humor. This movie's going to have a ton of it, I think. But I think the tone is going to be very flesh with the action and everything. I'm excited. I'm really, really excited. This was just a teaser. We'll get a lot more in the second trailer, like seeing Corey Stoll as Yellow Jacket and all that kind of stuff. So don't give up hope if you didn't like this first teaser. It was just a teaser. That's all it was. All right, we have a new Honest trailer, which goes with our theme. It's for Taken. So it's basically for Taken 1. They do a little bit of Taken 2 in there, but that's the Honest trailer, which was pretty awesome. The new Deadpool movie starring Ryan Reynolds is looking at Silicon Valley's T.J. Miller and the Transporter Legacy's Ed Skrein to join the film. I don't know much about Ed Skrein, but I know a lot about T.J. Miller. I love this guy. He's hilarious in everything he does. I would love to see him in Deadpool. I heard somebody throw out the idea that Deadpool has kind of like this weapons expert called the Weasel or something like that. I don't know too much about the back end of the comic book of Deadpool, but that he's got this like weapons guy, which I heard somebody say like kind of like Q to James Bond, that kind of stuff. And if T.J. Miller was going to be this Weasel character, that sounds amazing because their comedy would play off each other so well, and it's a great idea. So it sounds like these are two good things. Probably Ed Skrein, I would guess, would maybe be a villain, but I love T.J. Miller. I can't wait for the next season of Silicon Valley, which was also nominated at the Golden Globes last night for Best New Comedy. I would love to see it, so I hope that this turns out to be true and we get T.J. Miller in Deadpool. VOD sales for The Interview have reached $31 million, so that's pretty awesome. The movie only cost $40 million to make. They weren't going to release this film at all, and they decided to just do online, and look what it's done. And I think it's going to continue to bring in money for the next couple months, and then put it out on Blu-ray, and it's going to make even more. I think this movie has a great potential to make its whole production budget back. Dermot Mulroney is joining Zac Efron and Robert De Niro in the new film Dirty Grandpa. Blake Shelton is going to be hosting an episode of SNL here in a couple weeks. I know a lot of fans are pissed off about this, but USA Network has canceled Covert Affairs after 5 seasons. This was a big hit for USA, and a lot of people are left scratching their heads wondering why was this canceled. No word from USA as to why, but Covert Affairs has been canceled. Let's see here. We got the third official trailer for The Duff. We have a new trailer for The Lazarus Effect starring Olivia Wilde. I thought this trailer was great. This is a horror movie. Basically, it reminded me of like good old 80s horror, kind of like Flatliners and, stuff like that. Or basically they're trying to reanimate dead objects. They're starting with animals and stuff like that. And then Olivia Wilde's character kind of gets shocked during one of these experiments and she dies. And Mark Duplass is in this movie and he's like, let's just use it. We can't let her die. And they bring her back with this reanimated thing. But then obviously she's kind of evil and you can't mess with life like that. It looked pretty damn creepy. I'm excited to see The Lazarus Effect. Check out that trailer. And once again, for all the trailers, go to amiontheair.com. You'll see all the little subcategories on the website. Click on the trailers tab, and you can see all the trailers that we talk about on top of course, viewing it on our Facebook and Twitter page. But it's nice to go to the Am I on the Air website and just view it all in that one section so you don't have to go searching around for it. I'm excited about this. I didn't think this was coming out till May, and I got a nice little surprise. It's coming out in April. Marvel's Daredevil is going to be released on Netflix April 10th. Super, super stoked on this. I had heard a leaked thing a couple weeks ago saying that Daredevil was going to be released on Netflix on May 1st. It was going to coincide with Avengers Age of Ultron. Now it's April 10th. I think it's a very smart move. It would have been interesting to tie it in with Avengers, but then it's like, you're going to have people like binge watching Daredevil all weekend. They want you to get out and go see Avengers. So put this out a month earlier. Everyone will have this binge watched by the time Avengers comes out, and it's all good. So very, very excited about this. I can't wait. I think it's 13 episodes long. Marvel's Daredevil, Netflix, April 10th. Elle Fanning is in talks for Nicholas Winding Refn's new film, The Neon Demon. The showrunner for Arrow has not ruled out the possibility of Batman popping up at some point in Arrow. A lot of people started running with this news, and they were like, oh man, Batman's going to be on Arrow. They didn't say Batman's coming, and he clearly states in the interview that Warner Brothers really doesn't want him to use Batman right now. They want to kind of keep those real A-list kind of heroes off the show right now. But they said never say never, and they're not ruling out the possibility that at some point he can use Batman on the show. So there's a lot of breathing room there, and it doesn't mean it's going to happen in the next season or two, but you never know. The possibility is definitely there. Netflix has set some other premiere dates. Of course, we just talked about Daredevil on April 10th, but we also got Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt on March 6th. We got Bloodline on March 20th, and Grace and Frankie on May 8th. Those are all exclusive shows coming to Netflix. John Travolta is coming back to TV, as he is going to star in American Crime Story, The People vs. O.J. Simpson. So that is really, really cool. We're going to see John Travolta join that show. We know Cuba Gooding Jr. is in it. We know Ross from Friends. David Schwimmer is in it. So that's going to be pretty tight. Hunger Games star Wes Bentley has joined the cast of Pete's Dragon. Former Spartacus star Liam McIntyre has joined The Flash, and he is going to be the Weather Wizard. The Weather Wizard. Yeah. Which I read an article actually earlier today from the showrunners of Arrow, or from the showrunners of The Flash, who said the Weather Wizard's actually going to be bringing in time travel elements into the show. So that'd be pretty cool. Viola Davis herself has confirmed that she is going to be playing, that she's in talks. I'm sorry, let me rephrase. That she is indeed in talks to play Amanda Waller in Suicide Squad. What was really cool, on a side note, I was watching the Golden Globes last night, and Jared Leto came out, and they said, from the upcoming movie Suicide Squad, here's Jared Leto. And it was a little surreal to see him walk out on stage, knowing now he's going to be the Joker, and having them actually acknowledge that to a crowd of, like, coming up from Suicide Squad. I don't know, it's kind of cheesy, but it was just kind of interesting to kind of have that, like, solidified, like, oh shit, it is real, like, he is going to do this movie. But yeah, we've been talking about the rumors of Viola Davis doing Amanda Waller, but she herself in an interview said, I'm fascinated by this character, I'm doing all my homework on it, and we're really trying to make it work. Of course, I even said when it was a rumor that the big problem here was that it was her scheduling, because she does the TV show How to Get Away with Murder, and it's hard when you're in a big TV show to kind of dedicate, a couple months to a film. So they're trying to make it happen with her schedule. She's still not signed on the dotted line, because you just never know how that's going to play out. But she is dedicated, and she said, I will do it as long as we can make it work with the schedule. So that's really, really cool there. Netflix's Marco Polo show has been renewed for a second season. Hulu has renewed The Hot Wives and plans a Vegas set second season. HBO is developing Monty Clift, a biopic film that's going to be starring Matt Bomer. LL Cool J is going to be hosting Spike TV's Lip Sync Battle. for executive producer Jimmy Fallon. If you don't know, Jimmy Fallon on his show, he started this on his show, then he's been doing it on The Tonight Show. He does a thing called Lip Sync Battle, where two people just kind of lip sync a song, and they battle each other to see who does it the best. It's a funny skit that Jimmy Fallon does with celebrities on his show. Well, now they've taken that concept, and they're going to turn it into its own TV show with contestants playing, and LL Cool J will be the host of it. Hilarious. I'll check it out, but I don't know if it's not going to be as funny as watching celebrities do it. Maybe, who knows? Maybe they'll only have celebrities do it. I doubt it. They'll just get regular people. George Clooney is working on a new showbiz drama, and it's just been picked up over at Showtime. So Showtime's going to be doing it. He's not starring in it. This is just something that he's going to be producing. But it's a new drama based on showbiz that will land over at Showtime. Going back to John Travolta joining American Crime Story, he is going to be playing Robert Shapiro. I forgot to specify that earlier. Michael Keaton is in negotiations to join Skull Island. That's the new King Kong spin-off movie that's coming out in a couple years. Loki himself, Tom Hiddleston, J.K. Simmons, they're already signed for the film, and Michael Keaton's in negotiations right now. It's awesome. Michael Keaton's riding that high of Birdman, so I think Skull Island's going to be great. Paul Rudd is going to headline the book turned into film movie called The Revised Fundamentals of Caregiving. Okay, we got an article up with Chris Lord and Phil Miller talking about the Lego movie sequels and the spin-off films. They did clarify that they are writing and producing the Lego movie 2, but they will not direct the film. So that's a little bummer that they're not going to direct, because they did such an amazing job with the first film. We have another Everything Wrong With. This time it's Everything Wrong With Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. We have the new trailer for Maps to the Stars, starring Julianne Moore. The Fault in Our Stars actor Angel Elgort is going to star opposite Chloe Grace Moretz in the new film November Criminals. We have the full winners of the 2015 People's Choice Awards. I'm not going to go through it, but if you would like to check that out, that award show happened last week. Some weird winners on that one. What really pissed me off the most on the People's Choice Awards, let me vent for a second, is they have a category for Best Action Star, and The Rock was not nominated. How the hell do you have Best Action Star and not nominate The Rock? Super big letdown. The only thing that saved it was that Chris Evans won for Captain America, so I'll let it slide, but I'm still pissed that you're going to have an action category and not nominate the best action hero out today. Rumor mill going around saying that the first teaser trailer for Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice is going to be premiering with Jupiter Ascending next month. So that'll be very, very cool. I do hope that that happens. Producer of the Wicked musical play says that the movie version of Wicked could be coming in 2016. They're trying to work out all the final details and get that out. I know my wife will be super stoked. She loves Wicked. But yeah, Wicked movie could be coming as soon as 2016. Josh Gad has updated everybody on the new movie Triplets, which would be the sequel to Twins, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito, and their third brother, making it triplets, Eddie Murphy. So, I've been hearing a lot about this film for years. Josh Gad, who's going to be the new movie The Wedding Ringer that comes out Friday, he's a screenwriter, and he wrote an amazing script for this film. He says everybody loves it, everybody's on board, it's just about finding the right time and the green light to really move ahead and make the film. So it's all kind of in the studio's hands at this point, but he says the script is done, and they're just waiting to see what happens. So I would love to see Triplets with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito, and Eddie Murphy. This is what we need. It would be hilarious. And Josh Gad is a very funny dude. I would love to see his touch on this. So here's the hoping. Edward James Olmos has just signed on to a mystery role for Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so that'll be cool to see what he ends up doing. Fox has officially ordered a 6th season of Bob's Burgers. We have another new trailer called Effie Gray, starring Dakota Johnson and Emma Thompson. We have the first official international trailer for the new Salma Hayek movie called Everly. Now, at first, I kind of just was like, and I brushed this trailer off. And usually I don't post international trailers, but they did not post a domestic one here yet. But this is a red band. So the other day I was sitting and I was like, you know what, let me check out this trailer. How could Salma Hayek have a red band trailer? She's usually pretty tame, right? So I watched this trailer and I'm like, holy shit. This is like Salma Hayek is doing a John Wick shoot 'em up type movie. Like, she's, like, in this apartment, and all these guys bust in with guns, and they're trying to kill her, and she picks up a machine gun, and she's like, and she wipes everybody out, and she's, like, stuck in this building, and she gets this phone call, and they're like, we're gonna kill you. And she's like, no, you're not. And then she's trying to escape out of this building, but, like, people are coming across rooftops, they're coming through windows, they're coming up the stairs, they're going through the elevators, and she's, like, wiping everybody out like the Terminator. I was just like, what the hell is this movie? But she plays a character named Everly, and that's all this movie is called, Everly. I don't know much else about it. I don't know when it's coming out, but I was pretty damn blown away by this trailer, because Salma Hayek kicks some ass in this. It's crazy. You just gotta watch the trailer to understand what I'm talking about. I know a lot of people are excited about this. All you Game of Thrones fan, Season 5 is premiering April 12th, 2015. There you have it. Game of Thrones Season 5, April 12th, 2015. In more release date news, we got the green light on The Purge 3. I'm a big fan of The Purge. The first one let me down a little bit, but it was still fun. Purge 2, Anarchy, was awesome. I loved the second Purge movie. It was the Punisher film we all wanted. And now we have Purge 3. I thought they were going to do this every year, because the first two Purges were literally a year apart. But Purge 3 is taking a year off. It's not going to come out this year, unfortunately. But it will be released on July 1st, 2016. So Purge 3, July 1st, 2016. Very, very excited about that. This Friday in theaters, American Sniper gets released and expanded. It's been in very limited release right now. It's only playing in 4 theaters in the entire United States. It's going wide this Friday, and it will also now be redone and revamped for IMAX screens, so it will be available to see in IMAX. I will see American Sniper this weekend, and I'll have a review on the next show. I'm super excited to see American Sniper. The Snowden documentary Citizen 4 is going to be airing on HBO. Guillermo del Toro is going to be producing a new show called A Killing on Carnival Row that will be exclusive as an Amazon series. Alec Baldwin, Neil Patrick Harris, and Jason Sudeikis are joining Alexander Payne's Downsizing movie. I talked about Downsizing on the last episode. Matt Damon, Reese Witherspoon are on board, and now you add Neil Patrick Harris and Alec Baldwin and Jason Sudeikis. Great cast right here. Downsizing is supposed to be kind of a comedy, satirical, about shrinking down. Like, look what Ant-Man did, man. Now they got Matt Damon shrinking down to be an Ant-Man. It's crazy, crazy. MTV has canceled the show Happy Land. I'd never even heard of a show called Happy Land, so no big whoopee. Fargo has filled out its second season cast with adding Ted Danson, Patrick Wilson, and Gene Smart. So those are some good additions as well. HBO has renewed Real Time with Bill Maher for 2 more seasons. Jennifer Lopez, now this is just for all the guys out there, Jennifer Lopez goes topless in her sex scene in the new film, The Boy Next Door. I love your mother's cookies. Yeah, The Boy Next Door is coming out, I believe, this month, at the end of the month, where she basically has, this romp with the guy that lives next door, and then she's a school teacher, and he ends up joining her class, and she realizes, oh my god, he's a teenager, and then he kind of stalks her. Jennifer Lopez has never gotten nude in a film before, and she says it was the scariest thing she's ever had to do, but she says, hey, it's all me. This is not a body double. She gets topless, and you see some Jennifer Lopez's up in The Boy Next Door. Going back to the Golden Globe, she presented last night looking so sexy with Jeremy Renner. And Jeremy Renner made a joke about how she brought the real Golden Globes to the show because she had her tits just popping. And she was like, you could see she was like, oh my God, like all embarrassed. But Jeremy Renner, shout out to Jeremy Renner, who killed it with that joke. Because Jennifer Lopez did bring the real Golden Globes to the show last night. We have the new trailer for the new Liam Neeson movie called Run All Night, which actually looks really, really good. You can call this Taken 4 if you want, but it's another action movie where he's kicking some ass, and I love it. So Run All Night, it comes out in April, and we have the first trailer for that. We have the second official trailer for Chappie. Chappie is a new movie by the guy who directed District 9 and Elysium, Neil Blomkamp, and this looks really, really good. Hugh Jackman's in this film, Sigourney Weaver, Sharplo Copley, who was the main guy in District 9. He does the voice for Chappie. It's about this robot. Looks really, really cool. This second trailer gives you a whole different vibe on the movie than the first one did, so definitely check it out. It looks great. I'm really excited. On top of Game of Thrones returning on April 12th, the returns will also happen for Silicon Valley and Veep. So Game of Thrones, Silicon Valley, and Veep will all premiere on April 12th on HBO. Sign me up for Silicon Valley. I just talked about how I love that show with TJ Miller, and I'm glad to see that coming back for a second season. HBO is going to be releasing a new series called The Brink, starring Jack Black, and that will debut this summer. Producers of the next Bourne movie say that guaranteed in the next film, Matt Damon and Jeremy Renner will not meet up. There will be no crossover between the two characters in the very next Bourne movie. I didn't expect there would be in this one, but my fingers are crossed that the idea is to obviously merge them at some point coming up. You got to. I mean, they exist in the same universe. I already feel bad enough that Jeremy Renner's sequel to The Bourne Legacy got bumped because Damon returned. I hope they do a mashup at some time, man. They're missing a huge opportunity here to get these two guys together to kick some ass if they keep ignoring it. So even though they won't meet up in this next one, fingers are crossed that they will very soon. Bates Motel Season 3 and The Returned are going to both be premiering on March 9th over on A&E. I love Bates Motel. I can't wait for Season 3 here on March 9th. Man, I got a lot of release dates for you guys. Hope you're keeping track. Aubrey Plaza has joined the new film Dirty Grandpa, so that is pretty awesome. She's great. Dexter's own Michael C. Hall has also joined the cast of Pete's Dragon. I love Michael C. Hall, so I'm glad to see him do something else. Melissa McCarthy has entered early negotiations to join the new Ghostbusters all-female reboot. This was only a matter of time. As soon as they announced that Ghostbusters was going to be an all-female-led cast, I said, where's Melissa McCarthy at? Because you just knew it. You just knew it. Now, she's definitely not close to a lock. This is almost exactly the same thing as the Viola Davis and Suicide Squad situation. Melissa McCarthy is already doing multiple other movies, plus she is also involved in a TV show as she does Mike and Molly. So it says because of her TV schedule and because of all the other movies that she's already agreed to do, her schedule is super tight, and they're not sure that they can squeeze her in to get this. So she is in very early negotiations. She's the first one to be officially kind of approached. Supposedly the director is also looking at, I forget her name, but she's the girl in 22 Jump Street, the one that's constantly giving Jonah Hill crap. And spoiler alert, she turns out to be the bad girl at the end. Her and Cecily Strong from SNL are two of the other girls supposedly that they're going after on top of Melissa McCarthy. I love both of those. I think that chick is a great comedic actress, the one from 22 Jump Street. I'm sorry I'm spacing her name right now, but she's really, really funny, and I think she'd be a good addition. And Cecily Strong, I think she's great on SNL. She's super funny and she's hot. And, and I would love to see her jump on board to something like this in a big major role. So those are some of the names floating around. I heard that they supposedly had a meeting with Jennifer Lawrence as well, but it doesn't seem like that's moving anywhere. My wife really likes Jennifer Lawrence, but she was like, oh, that would have been horrible. I think Jennifer Lawrence would actually thrive in something like this. I think she's got a great sense of humor, and she always does all this serious stuff. And I would love to see Jennifer Lawrence actually do a comedy. I really, really would. And I think Ghostbusters, opposite of Melissa McCarthy and stuff, would be incredible. So I think they're missing a ball there on that one. They better get Kristen Wiig. That's all I gotta say. Oscar Isaac says that Apocalypse will bring X-Men to their knees. He's been talking a lot about Apocalypse lately in X-Men as he's gearing up because he's going to play Apocalypse in the next X-Men film, so it's cool to hear him talking. One of the biggest rumors to hit over the weekend, and this was causing a lot of controversy, was that Batman v Superman was going to be split into 2 parts. Supposedly, somebody saw a leaked version of the trailer, and at the end of the trailer, it said, Batman v Superman Part 1, Enter the Night, October 2015. And then Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, March 26, 2017. Or 2016, sorry. So it was like, it still had its original release date, but it had this new Part 1 called Enter the Night that was going to come out in October of this year. And I was like, yes, this is a rumor, but it kind of makes sense. Because think about it. This movie took them almost 8 to 9 months to shoot. It only takes a movie about 4 months to shoot. So the shoot was twice as long. The movie was originally supposed to come out in 2015. And then, before they even started filming, they said, oh, we're going to bump it. And it's going to come out in 2016 now. Why? The film is already done shooting. It doesn't take 2 years to put this thing out. So when you put all of that kind of together, you could see that, maybe they were in the editing room and they were looking at a first cut of the film. And the first cut of the film is 3 hours and 45 minutes long. And they're like, crap, it's so long, we can't release this almost 4-hour movie, but we don't want to really cut anything out because we have so much good stuff in here. The studio says, you know what? Let's break it into 2 parts. We'll put Part 1 out in October. We'll give you to the end of the year to pop this baby out. It'll do awesome in October. And then we'll keep the original release date for the other part, and we'll do the second half. This all made massive sense to me. So, but it was just a rumor, so you have to hold on to it as a rumor. Now, the rumor's kind of been debunked, which makes me very sad, because over the weekend, there was a big press conference going on, and Henry Cavill, Superman himself, was at this press conference. And a guy stopped him and was asking him some questions about some stuff he's got coming up in, and said to him, hey, are there any truth to these rumors that Batman v Superman is going to be split into 2 parts? And he just flat out said, no, it's one film. It was never intended to be 2 parts, and it won't be 2 parts. So he shut it down. Now, I'm not going to say that that's the end of that chapter of that rumor, and we're just filing it away. Hollywood is secretive. And if this is a secret that was not meant to get out right now, then why the hell would he be like, yeah, guys, you nailed it. I'm going to be the one to break the news. It is in 2 parts. He'll get in trouble. So, of course, in typical Hollywood fashion, he says, no, I don't know what you're talking about. It's not 2 parts. It's only 1. So, even though he said that, and at this point, I guess maybe I'll fall back a little bit and I'll say, hey, Henry Cavill says it's just 1 part. I'm not going to give up hope that when this teaser trailer supposedly debuts in front of Jupiter Ascending, that at the end, they make it official and they announce that Part 1 comes out later this year and Part 2 comes out next year. This feels like it's going to be a massive movie. If you take a big chunk of the first half of the film to really introduce us to this new Ben Affleck Batman, get us set up in that world, and then the second movie really have them go at it, it makes sense to me. It really, really does, just based on how this production has gone so far. So once again, it is a rumor. Take it for what you will. It's a big, big rumor. Henry Cavill says it's not true. I'm sure we'll find out within the next month whether it is or isn't. All right. A Wet Hot American Summer. This was a movie that came out way back in the day, I believe the mid-90s, and it starred a bunch of unknown people at this time who turned into like Bradley Cooper and Ken Marino and Amy Poehler and Paul Rudd. Like, there's so many people in this thing. It was a bomb at the box office, but it became a cult classic. People all over were just getting into this movie. And so Netflix has been teasing that they wanted to do something with it. Well, it was just announced that Netflix is going to be doing an 8-episode miniseries as a follow-up to the movie, and they brought back the entire original cast. How awesome is that? And that's including Bradley Cooper and Paul Rudd and Ken Marino and Amy Poehler and all of them. Everybody's back. And there's so many more names that I'm forgetting, and I'm sorry. This movie has a big cast. I think Elizabeth Banks. Like, it's so awesome. And the fact that they got the entire cast to return is so awesome. It's a funny movie, and with those people the way they are now, doing this little 8-episode thing on Netflix. Netflix is killing it right now, man. They are the best network in the world. And it's very, very cool. So it's a go. They're filming it right now. They jumped right into it, and the original cast has returned. It's so awesome. David Oyelowo, who plays Martin Luther King in Selma, and Lupita Nyong'o, they're looking at joining Disney's new movie, Queen of Katwe. So, very cool. Michelle Williams is joining Casey Affleck in the new film Manchester by the Sea. Haley Steinfeld is going to star in the new young adult adaptation Carrie Pilby. The returned producers vow that the A&E remake will take a different turn than the original series that it's based on. The Simpsons has enlisted girl star Lena Dunham to guest star in one of the upcoming episodes. Disney Channel is going to be doing a TV sequel to Adventures in Babysitting called Further Adventures in Babysitting. That'll be on the Disney Channel. NBC has ordered a martial arts drama pilot called Warrior. The Minority Report reboot TV show has landed a pilot order from Fox. So the Fox network has picked that up, and they'll be doing Minority Report. That's very, very cool. I'm excited about the Minority Report TV show. Reports from the DC universe make it sound like the Amanda Waller character that we talked earlier about Viola Davis doing, that she basically will be like the Nick Fury in the DC universe. That Viola Davis's contract is a multi-picture deal, and that they would kind of be using her character to pop up in all the DC kind of movies, so she can kind of be that glue to bring everything together like Nick Fury does in Marvel. So that's pretty cool. I think they need something like that. Some new names have popped up as rumors to play the young versions of Cyclops, Phoenix, of course Jean Grey, and Storm in X-Men Apocalypse. So we'll see if you're familiar with any of these. I read you a list of some potential people back in November, and some newer names emerged over the weekend as to who might be playing Jean Grey, a.k.a. the Phoenix, Scott Summers, a.k.a. Cyclops, in X-Men Apocalypse, and of course a young Aurora Monroe, a.k.a. Storm. Some of the new names for the Jean Grey role include Sophie Turner, who is on Game of Thrones, Academy Award nominee, I always forget how to pronounce her name correctly, Saoirse Ronan. She was in Grand Budapest Hotel. She was also Hannah in the awesome action movie Hannah. She was in The Host. They will join previously rumored Elle Fanning and Haley Steinfeld. For Cyclops, joining the previously rumored Timothée Chalamet and Ben Hardy and Charlie Rowe. On the Cyclops shortlist are Taron Egerton, who is the main kid in Kingsman: Secret Service that's coming out, and Jamie Blackley from If I Stay and Snow White and the Huntsman, and Ty Sheridan from the movie Mud and Joe. According to some producers, Sheridan is currently the front runner for the part. I would say, honestly, out of all of these guys, I would say Ty Sheridan or the Kingsman guy, Taron Egerton. Those are the two best ones for that. And as for Storm, the names rumored right now are Zendaya Coleman. You know her from the Disney Channel's Shake It Up show. And Alexandra Shipp, best known for headlining the most recent Lifetime biopic film of Aaliyah, the Princess of R&B. What's kind of funny about this is that Zendaya was supposed to be Aaliyah, and then she dropped out, and then this this chick, Alexandra Shipp, jumped on board and became Aaliyah in the TV movie. So both girls that were up for Aaliyah are now going for Storm. That's kind of weird, right? I don't know how I feel about either of these two. I did see the Aaliyah biopic film. I thought that this chick did a good job, but I can't really see her as Storm. Zendaya, I'm just very underwhelmed at the choices for Storm. So we'll see. X-Men Apocalypse is going to be released on May 27th of 2016, and it's supposed to start filming in April, so they got to get going over here for who they want for the young Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Storm. Gary Whitta is no longer writing the Star Wars standalone movie. He's been working on it. He says he turned in the first draft, but he says he's done. He says that draft is all he wanted to do. He's very fulfilled, and he's got some other projects he wants to go work on, so we'll see. We'll go from there whether his draft will stick or if they move on to something else. Mad Men's final episodes will begin airing on April 5th over on AMC. So there's your return dates for Mad Men. Ricky Gervais is returning as the character Derek over on Netflix with a 1-hour special on Friday, April 3rd. Let's see. Lenny Kravitz has joined Katy Perry for the Super Bowl halftime show. We announced Katy Perry a while back, but Lenny Kravitz joining is the new news. Randy Jackson's America's Best Dance Crew has been revived for a new season over at MTV. Yeah, the show got canceled a couple years ago. MTV's bringing it back this summer, and I believe it's only going to be like 6 or 8 episodes, so it's not going to be a full season, but I'm glad to see it return. I really liked America's Best Dance Crew. That's where the Jabberwockies came from, and I love those guys. I've been to Vegas multiple times. I've seen the Jabberwockies 2 times in Vegas, and they're just incredible. And they are, as far as I'm concerned, America's Best Dance Crew. And if it wasn't for that show, those guys wouldn't have what they have. So I'm glad to see it come back. Congratulations, Arrow has been picked up for season 4. I'm so excited about this. It's so well deserved. Arrow's one of the best shows on television, and I'm happy to see that it's getting its due. On top of that, the CW has also renewed The Flash. Hell yeah. Jane the Virgin, Reign, Supernatural, The 100, and The Originals. So that's all been renewed. Beauty and the Beast over on the CW will debut in late May or early June. They don't have an exact release date locked down yet. The CW has also set a March 17th premiere date for iZombie, their new zombie show coming out. In some sad news, actor-comedian Taylor Negron has lost his battle with cancer and has died at the age of 57. He's one of those guys that when you see a picture of him, you'll be like, oh, that guy. Because he's one of these little side characters. You don't really know him by name, but you know when he pops up in a film. He's a real funny dude. He's always kind of this little kind of side character, usually a bad guy, stuff like that. But it's very sad to hear he's lost his battle with cancer and has passed away, so thoughts and prayers are with him. The CW has also, on top of everything, announced their full 2015 mid-season schedule, including all series premieres and everything, so you can check out that breakdown if you didn't hear your favorite show announced from me just now. Also talking about CW, the CW is considering doing an Arrow spin-off show with Brandon Routh as the Atom. So that's pretty cool. Brandon Routh joined the show this season, and he is going to become the character called Atom, which is basically DC's Ant-Man. And so we're going to get more of him this season, but they really like working with Brandon Routh. He's incredible. and they're in the early stages of doing a possible spin-off show and have the Atom be his own show. So I like it. I love the sound of it. I'm all for more superhero shows. Not every character needs a spin-off, but Brandon Routh could definitely carry it, and it'd be cool to see like a massive crossover show with Atom and Arrow and Flash all together. That'd be pretty cool. Let's see here. Just trying to see. Oh, we've got some bad news for all you Dredd fans out there. The producers and the writers of the Dredd movie, we know everybody's been pushing, hoping for a sequel at some point. And he came out today in another article and said, unfortunately, it just does not seem like a sequel is going to move forward to Dredd. The studio just doesn't really have any push to do it. Not enough people saw it when it was in theaters, and they're too frightened to do another one. So as much as Carl Urban and all the fans have really pushed for it, and it has become quite a cult hit on Netflix and everything else since it's been released, they look at box office numbers and it just was not there, and they lost too much money on the first one to really move forward with a sequel. So I think that's pretty much the final nail in the coffin on Dredd 2. We do have some TV trailers for you. You can watch the Season 3 trailer of House of Cards that was just released. You can see the trailer for Better Call Saul, the Breaking Bad spinoff, and you can see the trailer for iZombie over on the CW. So all of those are on our Twitter page. Oh, this kind of pisses me off. So the producers behind Arrow and The Flash are the same people that are going to be doing CBS's new Supergirl show. So I just read an interview with these guys where they said built into the negotiation with CBS was the fact that they want to do crossovers. That they want to bring Supergirl into Arrow or Supergirl into Flash and vice versa. We could bring Arrow or Flash into Supergirl. That there's going to be option for crossover because they're going to be set in the same universe. They have clarified this on multiple occasions that this is going to happen. That, this is part of the deal. We put it into the contract. Well, an interview over the weekend with the CBS head, this is the person that runs CBS, they talked about the Supergirl TV series, and one of the things they were quoted in saying it says, I don't think there's going to be any crossovers because those other shows are on another network, and we don't have any plans to cross over at this moment. And kind of moved on from the question. What the hell, man? So the CBS people are saying, no, we're not doing a crossover. That's all on the CW. That's another network. We're not doing it. But what's crazy is the only reason that these crossovers were even able to be done in the first place is because the CW is owned by CBS. They're all owned by the same parent company. So that's why it was no big deal for them to cross over, because they all share the benefits. You know what I mean? So that's crazy. So somebody's lying here. Probably the CBS head has no idea that was even worked into the contract. So they're like, yeah, we're not doing any crossovers. And then somebody's going to be like, yeah, you're wrong about that because it's in the contract. Why would the guy behind all of these shows say, that's why I'm executive producing. I executive produce all 3 shows so we can make sure that it's in the same universe and there's the same creative thread in there. If there was never anything, why would he say it was built into the negotiations for the contract? It just, this blows my mind because they were so adamant on the crossover of these shows, and now CBS is saying, oh no, there's no CW crossover. So I don't know. We'll keep you posted on this. I'm just a little bummed because everything has been saying Supergirl will cross over, and now all of a sudden they're trying to say, no, it's another network. No. Stephen Colbert's new version of The Late Show, where he takes over for David Letterman, will debut now on September 8th over on CBS. So now you have an official date on when Stephen Colbert will take over The Late Show on September 8th. And in one little final piece of funny news for all you Rock Band fans, and I don't know if anybody's left. I loved Rock Band. I loved Guitar Hero. I still got the drum kit stashed in my closet right now. I'm ready to dust it off because Harmonix came out today and said, we're releasing some new DLC. We got 3 new songs coming out. We're going to do Foo Fighters and Avenged Sevenfold, and we're going to put out some new music, and we'll see what happens. So kind of interesting. They have not put out DLC for Rock Band in a couple years. I believe it's been 2 years now. And they're doing this as kind of an experiment to see if anybody even cares anymore. I'll probably be the only one that downloads it, but I want to get that Avenged Sevenfold song. I'm ready to dust off the guitar and get down with some Shepherd of Fire. I think I'll do that right after I do this show. But yeah, so funny little piece there that some new DLC is dropping for Rock Band. Alright, let's get to our release dates and wrap this baby up. On DVD and Blu-ray tomorrow is Gone Girl, Men, Women, and Children, and A Walk Among the Tombstones. So we got a best and a worst case scenario here. Gone Girl was amazing. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Loved it. It's on Blu-ray tomorrow. I've already pre-ordered it from Amazon. Got it already in the mail. Very excited. Great movie. And then you got A Walk Among the Tombstones, which Geeky Pat listed as his worst film of 2014. And it was up there for me too. Did not care for this movie at all. I think I only gave it 2 stars. Very boring. Sorry, Liam Neeson, I love you, but A Walk Among the Tombstones sucked. So that comes out. I do want to see Men, Women, and Children, so I'll have to check that one out now that it's out. In theaters on Friday, kind of big weekend here. We got Black Hat, which is the new Chris Hemsworth movie, where he's the Black Hat hacker. I'll definitely, hopefully, be checking that out this weekend. American Sniper is released in wide release. The Wedding Ringer, which is the new Josh Gad, Kevin Hart comedy. And Paddington Bear. He's got a raincoat. Sorry, inside joke. So yeah, Black Hat, American Sniper, The Wedding Ringer, and Paddington all out in theaters this Friday. And here's your box office. Coming in number 10, it's The Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 1 with $3.7 million. Number 9 is The Woman in Black 2, Angel of Death with $4.8 million. Number 8 is Annie with $4.9 million. Number 7 is Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb with $6.7 million. Number 6 is The Imitation Game with $7.6 million. Number 5 is Unbroken with $8.7 million. Number 4 is The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies with $9.4 million. Number 3 is Into the Woods with $9.7 million. Number 2 is Selma with $11.2 million. And your number 1 film, Tooken 3, Taken 3 with $40.4 million in its opening weekend. Very, very awesome. Well, my friends, that'll wrap us up here with your news of the week. There was a lot to get to, so we ran about 15 minutes over the hour mark. That's okay. I got you up to speed. There's a ton of release dates for y'all. I don't think I've ever done as many premiere dates and scheduling movie release dates and everything as I did on this episode. So write it all down. Mark your calendars for when all your favorite stuff returns. And thank you so much for tuning in for season 10, episode 2, Tooken. My name is Don Mega. You can follow me on Twitter at DXDonMega. Follow the show on Twitter at Am I On The Air. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/AmIOnTheAir. You can subscribe to us on iTunes if you prefer to get the show that way. Our official webpage is amiontheair.com. If you bookmark that, you can check it out. You can listen to the show there. You can listen to the Am I Still On The Air spin-off episodes. You can watch all the movie trailers. You can see all the movie reviews. You can see all the box office stuff that I just talked about. Everything's right there. So if you ever are wondering, like, hey, what did Don Mega rate this movie again? Just go to amiontheair.com and look at the movie reviews tab. It's all right there. And it goes back for years. So, of course, like I said, iTunes, you can get us on Stitcher Radio, you can get us on TuneIn, and you can like us over on Google Plus as well, and subscribe to us on YouTube. It's youtube.com/AmIOnTheAir. Also, check out RedDragonsRadio.com. We are an exclusive part of Red Dragons Radio. You can follow on Twitter at Red Dragons Radio. And you can check us out. You can listen to This Week with the Geek, Out of the Riffs, People's Forum, Pro Wrestling Nation, Brothers of Destruction podcast. Lots of great podcasts on the web to check out over on RedDragonsRadio.com. So that'll do it for me on this lovely January the 12th. My name is Don Mega. You've been awesome, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.
Red Dragon!